Let's look at stories making headlines. Following his three-day visit to Korea, President William Ruto signed several memorandum of understanding with Korean foreign countries set to benefit Kenyans. Some of the MOUs between the Kenya Chamber and the Kenya Chamber of Commerce and the Korean Institute of Procurement covered animal feed production, access to cheaper fertilizer, and local manufacturing companies for health equipment. The president was accompanied by other dignitaries from Kenya, CS Alfred Mutua being one of them. Mutua urged Kenyans living in Korea to hone their skills before flying back to help rebuild the economy. Let's watch.
Thank you very much. We'll see you.
Following his three-day visit to Korea, President William Ruto has said the government of Kenya will expand economic ties with South Korea to create business and job opportunities for Kenyans. Speaking during a meeting with Kenya community in South Korea on Tuesday, President Ruto said Kenya will engage the South Korean government to unlock opportunities in technology, trade, investment, and maritime operations.
We have come here to transact business on behalf of the people of Kenya. And amongst the items that we are looking to discuss with our counterparts here are matters of security and how we can enhance our security posture as a country. We are probably the country in Africa that has close to 90% green energy.
In line with the Sustainable Development Goals, the two countries agreed to boost job exchanges, support innovation and a creative economy, and improve Kenyan access to Korean scholarships. The president was accompanied by cabinet secretaries Alfred Mutua, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Moses Kuria, Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Eliud Owalo, Cabinet Secretary for ICT, and other dignitaries. Mutua urged Kenyans living in Korea to hone their skills before flying back home to help rebuild the economy.
Because if you're making money here, it's good for you as a Kenyan, but it's also good for everybody else who is in Kenya, because you'll be able to remit money and we'll be able to gather those goods here. One of the things that we are doing is that we are adding value to our products.
Speaking in Seoul, South Korea, during a meeting with the Kenya community in Korea, President Ruto said bilateral talks will also focus on securing markets for Kenyan products. The head of state said Kenya will focus on value addition with a view of exporting value-added products, where he noted that Kenya must move from processing 5% of its tea to 50% in the next 5 years. And in years' time, Kenya should be able to process every gram of tea grown in the country.
My presence here is to confirm to you Kenya's readiness to engage, to work together, and I'm here to underwrite the opportunities that are available in Kenya and the opportunities that are available in our continent.
The Korean speaker agreed that the current 40% tariff on agricultural products was too high and pledged to engage the ministry after Ruto pushed for reduction to ensure better returns for Kenya. Additionally, Korea vowed to guarantee Kenya benefits from a 12.1 trillion Kenya shillings fund set aside for Africa. Beatrice Njeri, GBS News. President William Samoei Ruto on Wednesday, 23rd, 2022, met with the South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol in Seoul, even as Kenya and South Korea signed bilateral agreements at presidential office in South Korea. Tata Emmanuel with the report.
President Ruto on Wednesday held talks with South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol in Seoul, Korea, as Kenya and South Korea signed a bilateral agreement at the presidential office in South Korea.
Yeah, this one is ours. This is Kenya.
In his address, President Ruto praised Korea for not only supporting individual African countries, but also being a great partner for economic cooperation in the region. The president termed this move as a key factor in opening up new avenues of trade in Africa.
Korea is not only supporting individual countries in Africa to advance their development, but is also one of the most active and generous partners through the Africa Development Bank under the Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation since 2006, which opens new avenues for cooperation in renewable energy solutions in Africa.
The president also hinted on the African countries to focus on manufacturing their lighting sector, claiming that the move will not only boost their economic model, but also improve their lives.
Africa needs to fire up its light manufacturing sector with the agro-based industries and integrate the comparative advantage into a transformative economic model, and which will lift national economies and raise the welfare of many from the bottom up.
He further called upon the African continent to do more for themselves through engaging in intertrade. He noted that Kenya is honored to be among the pilot countries in the implementation of the inter-African trade. Through this, Africa will not only boost its productivity in the global space, but also prove its dominance.
The path to a more prosperous Africa also demands that Africa does more with itself. We need to trade amongst ourselves more, as inter-Africa trade remains a mere 18%, the lowest compared to other regional blocs. Kenya is honored to be one of the pilot countries for the implementation of the inter-Africa trade under the new free trade area. I conclude with a call to attention that change is happening in Africa. This change comes with so much opportunities for the rest of the world.
Reporting for GBS TV News, I'm Sete Emmanuel.
Genetically modified food has sparked a serious debate in the country, with Kenyans and legislators expressing openly their dislike of rather than rush move by government to allow for their use in the country. However, the experts and scientists feel there is much more to benefit from GMOs than the perceived dangers. Let's get the report.
Speaking during a petition motion in Parliament on Tuesday, Mathare MP Anthony Oluoch brought up the history of GMO, in which he categorically stated that GMO was a new technology which only began in 1982 when the US's Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, approved the first GMO product that was developed through genetic engineering.
But now, Madam Speaker, let me take this House through a little history on GMO and how it evolved. Madam Speaker, GMO began in 1982 when the Federal Drug Administration approved the first GMO product that was developed through genetic engineering. Madam Speaker, this was used as a test to try and develop a DNA bacteria for the treatment of diabetes. Following this was in 1986 when FDA then again developed a coordinated framework for regulation of biotechnology. This policy described how US FDA and US EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Department of Agriculture would together regulate GMO. So the question is, even as we look back to where the US has come, a technology that is 1982, I believe I was in Form 1 then, this is very recent technology. You come to 1992, it is only as recent as this that the FDA in the US put in place a policy that food from GMO plants could meet the same standards and requirements as those of indigenous
This was used as a test to try to develop a DNA bacteria for the treatment of diabetes. The Kenyatta University's Director of Research, Professor Richard Oduor, opinioned that Kenya took long time to adopt biotechnology as compared to other African nations. According to Professor Oduor, who was speaking on Citizen TV's JK Live show on Wednesday, other African nations such as Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Sudan, Malawi, South Africa, and Eswatini discovered early on that they needed to adopt biotechnology to develop better yielding, disease-resistant, and drought-tolerant crop varieties. He, however, noted that the same countries had also taken note of the cons of adopting genetically modified food, and Kenya would have to eventually follow the same path. According to John Muoma, an associate professor of plant biotechnology at the Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, GMO crops are as good as any traditional crop, seeing as the research in the field has undergone tremendous revolution. Reporting for GBS TV, I am Mark Anthony.
From Rift Valley and Western have come out with a plan to collect signatures with an aim of impeaching the Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Industrialization, Moses Kuria. The threat came after Moses Kuria announced that he will issue a gazette to allow the importation of duty-free maize last week. Let's get more on the same.
A section of the members of the National Assembly from maize-growing areas in the Rift Valley and Western regions have come out saying that they will, starting on Wednesday, November 23rd, collect the signatures with an aim to remove the Cabinet Secretary for Trade and Industrialization through impeachment. Being led by Pokot South Member of Parliament David Kusin and other lawmakers, they have emphasized on the move because of Kuria's stand on the importation of the GMO maize into the country. The MPs resolved to start the signature collecting process to impeach Kuria following the report indicating that a ship carrying 10,000 tons of imported maize was due to dock to the port of Mombasa on Tuesday.
And finally, I want to tell Honorable Moses Kuria, he will be the first cabinet minister to leave office. And he might leave office before the end of this month or before Christmas. If he continues this, we will impeach him.
The threat came after Moses Kuria announced that he will issue a gazette to allow the importation of duty-free maize last week. According to Kuria, the state plans to import 10 million bags of GMO maize in an effort to protect farmers, earning which will actually set the stage for further inflation rallies. He further noted that the government will allow the importation of the GMO maize for a period of 6 months. Narok Senator Ledama Olekina has argued that Kuria was only following orders from above and only a messenger in the maize fiasco. Sete Emmanuel, GBS TV News, Nairobi.
A motion to impeach Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has formally been tabled at the County Assembly. The motion, sponsored by Overgate West, member of County Assembly, has cited various grounds of impeachment, including alleged nepotism, illegal appointments, and sacking of employees. Let's get the report.
A motion to impeach Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has formally been tabled at the County Assembly. The motion, which was tabled by a Bogeta member of County Assembly, Dennis Kiogora, who is also the minority leader, has cited various grounds including nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, bullying, misleading campaigns against other leaders, and mobilization of unlawful riots against members of County Assembly. She is also accused of violating public finance management laws and misconduct relating to the nomination of County Executive Committee members, CECs.
A motion for the impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, for 1, gross violation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, gross violation of national and county laws, 3, gross abuse of office, and 4, gross misconduct. The first charge against the Governor is nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of county organs.
The Assembly has also notified the public of the impeachment plan and organized public participation on November 28th, and the residents can also write their views and send to the Assembly.
Tutakuwa na lile jambo linaitwa public participation siku ya Jumatatu kutoka saa 2 asubuhi mpaka saa 7.
In the affidavit, the MCA has attached various documents to back his claims, arguing this has been occasioned by complaints. They include deployment and dismissal letters. Also attached are transcripts and English translations of utterances alleged to have been made by the county chief in various events. Letter from Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC CEO Twali Mbarak to Mwangaza concerning the complaints raised is also part of the crucial documents tabled. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
Narok children's stakeholders have raised concerns over few cases of teenage pregnancies that are brought in court compared to the high number of teenage pregnancies in the county. Narok Senior Resident Magistrate in charge of Children Matters, Sisenda, called on the society to help protect children by reporting incidents of defilement, female genital mutilation, early marriages, and child labor immediately they spot it to the authority. Barbara Gamba with the full report.
Adelaide Sisenda, Narok Senior Resident Magistrate in charge of Children Matters, lamented that only 70 cases were brought in court this year, yet according to the report released by the Ministry of Education, over 741 girls are pregnant. Among the 741 girls pregnant, 248 are candidates sitting for this year's national examination, 140 being in primary and 108 in secondary school. Mrs. Sanda, who spoke at the court premises, said they had dedicated the month of November to sensitize the community on the need to take personal responsibility to report culprits of teenage pregnancies and protect children against any form of injustice. During the month, Mrs. Sanders stated that cases of children will be given a priority in the court proceedings so that the children can get justice within the shortest time possible.
Bado tunasindilia hiyo mambo ya wasichana. Tunaomba wasichana wasome, wasipate tena kushika mimba wakiwa wadogo. Kama vile sahi maisha iko ni kusoma tu.
Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Narok Senior Counsel Duncan Ondimo, said his office was working with all stakeholders to ensure children's matters were prosecuted in the manner they deserved. He urged residents not to shy off from reporting children's injustices to his office, promising to protect the witnesses who came to record statements.
We are currently looking into cases of teenage pregnancies because by September, mid-September, we had around 741 underage teenage pregnancy girls within the Narok County. This is between Narok Town, Narok and its environs, and also Kilgoris. Out of these, 349 were primary school going, and the rest were high school. So it's an issue which is really causing, and we are glad that the investigations are ongoing, and we hope by the end of the month we'll have several prosecution ensuing, because this number, it's still too high. We need to control it, and now that we are heading to holiday, it's one of the worst seasons.
Speaking in a different event, Narok Governor Patrick Ntutu's wife, Miss Agnes Ntutu, has asked the Maasai community not to hide culprits of defilement in their midst, but instead speak out so as to punish the culprits.
Pregnancies is now a big menace in Narok County, and we want to stop it. So I just want to request your office, County Commissioner, help us to stop that menace. Tunataka yule culprit, yule ambaye amehusika kupatika mtoto mimba, ashikwe mara moja.
Dr. Kihotho Maina, a gynecologist and consultant on women matters, lamented that the young children undergo psychological torture during the pregnancy season and after delivery, asking parents to keep a close eye on their pregnant daughters. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Barbara.
Kirinyaga County government has opened the first tomato market in the county, bringing the long-awaited relief to farmers and traders. Mukutano Tomato Market becomes the largest tomato aggregation center for the county farmers who sell their produce to retail and export traders. Let's get more on the same.
During the official opening of Makutano Tomato Market, Governor Anne Waiguru said that the market will accommodate about 500 tomato traders who have been selling by the roadside but have since been displaced by the ongoing expansion of the Kenol Sagana Marua dual carriage. The market has modern social amenities such as toilets, car parks, proper storm weather drainage, as well as adequate lighting system that will lead to extension of transaction hours. The tomato traders leader asked for a myriad of issues affecting the traders.
To our governor, tunajua pahali huko kwa hii serikali kuko na hustler fund inakuja kufunguliwa hapa cooperative of tomato. Tungeomba au vijana wa mikokotano tusaidie tuweze kupata hiyo pesa ya hustler fund ili tujiinue kwa hii ukulima wetu ya nyanya. Tuweze tukipewa kama cooperative tutaweza kupewa wakulima wanalima ili tunapata hiyo. Ingine ya mwisho our governor ni mambo na tomato processing plant. Tungeomba hiyo mradi uikamilishe ili tuache kutupa nyanya hii area yetu.
The county, through Wezesha program, have supported over 60 farmers groups to upscale tomato production through construction of greenhouses for seedling propagation and growing of high-yielding tomatoes. To address post-harvest losses and add value to the tomatoes, Anne Waiguru said that the county government is in process of constructing a tomato factory in Kangai Mwea constituency, noting that the value addition will earn farmers more money and create employment opportunity for the people of Kirinyaga.
This market will provide a conducive working environment for the farmers to be able to sell their markets in an environment that is clean and where the marketers can be able to reach the traders without too much of a problem. So to address the post-harvest losses, as you have heard requested by the chairman, we are going to be putting up a factory for tomato processing in Kirinyaga so that the tomatoes that are not sold into the market for consumption, the table tomato, can go into the processing for tomato paste and other products. And we will continue building another 4 markets before the end of the financial year in June. Our Wezesha program has so far supported 500 farmers groups, and an additional 350 farmers groups have been identified to enter the second phase starting January.
The factory will be making tomato products like tomato sauce, tomato juice, and diced tomatoes. The factory will see the doubling of tomato farmers as a result of the ready market for the produce. The governor noted that the county government will continue supporting farmers to upscale tomato farming as well as provision of favorable marketing environment. Reporting for GBS TV, I am Mark Anthony.
The High Court has dismissed a petition challenging the election of Tana River Governor by Hussein Tunea Dando and ordered the petitioner to pay 2 million Kenya shillings cost. Justice Ongeri, while sitting in Malindi, said the petition by former Governor Hussein Dando lacks merit. Let's get more on the same.
Justice Aseda Ongeri said the petitioner failed to provide sufficient evidence on the claims, adding that they were mere hearsay based on suspicion, and the petitioner must also establish that the violence was so pervasive that it affected the right to vote. Mr. Dado had claimed that voting was disrupted by violence initiated by persons claiming to be supporters of Godhana at Garsen Primary School, Mabadi polling station and tailing center at Hola.
What they have, but we were simply denied. And Sisi wakati tulikuja, nilituma deputy na yangu na chief agent kueleza kwamba hatukutosheka na vile hesabu zilienda.
Governor Datho Gohana has been re-elected with 26,802 votes, beating his close competitor at first Governor Noor Hussein Tunea Dado with a small margin of 259 votes. A total of 12 petitions had been filed challenging the election victory of 11 governors in the country from the concluded general elections. Reporting for GBS, Arms Desionja.
Artemis 1 had the first flight test of NASA's Orion capsule and space launch system rocket launched on 16th of November 2022 and is scheduled to slash down 11th December. The spacecraft made its closest approach to the moon on Monday morning during the day 5 of Artemis 1 mission. The uncrewed capsule flew about 81 miles above lunar surface. Let's watch.
The Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle is NASA's vehicle of choice to take astronauts to the moon, a future lunar space station, and potentially on to Mars. The flight is set to last 25 days from its Florida liftoff to Pacific splashdown. It will use the moon's gravity to assist it in setting a trajectory back to Earth. Orion is ex-Artemis 1 launched from Florida on Wednesday, with NASA's most powerful rocket ever, the Space Launch System, successfully carrying Orion into space.
This is one of those days that you've been thinking about and dreaming about for a long, long time. We just saw the Earth set behind the moon as we take the next human-rated vehicle around the moon, preparing to bring humans back there within a few years. This is a game changer.
While on astronauts are aboard, the nearly month-long journey around the moon is a critical demonstration for NASA's lunar program. The mission represents a crucial inflection point in NASA's moon plan, with the program delayed for years and running billions of dollars over budget. The Artemis program represents a series of missions with escalating goals. That tentatively scheduled for 2025 is expected to return astronauts to the lunar surface for the first time since the Apollo era. It has been 50 years since NASA's Apollo program, and this week launch of the Orion spacecraft at the top of unanimous Orion rocket marked the major milestone ceremony in $4.1 million test mission. The orbit of the Orion put it directly the location of the Apollo 11, 12, and 14 landings, the first human landing on the moon. Pictures of Earth, a blue dot in the middle of the darkness, were relayed back by the capsule camera. The next board will be 2025, when NASA will now use a Starship spacecraft. However, in 2024, astronauts set to board Orion for another trip on the moon.
Getting an idea of whether this environment is going to be okay for people, so things like radiation sensors, motion sensors, accelerometers, things like that, things that we as human payloads are going to care a lot about.
Lino Lunjog reporting on GBS TV.
Moving to the sports, another African team has secured a point on World Cup match. Morocco secured a single point against Croatia, a match held by Alp Stadium. Croatia dominated the match but failed to show the form that took them to the World Cup 4 years ago. Let's watch.
Secured a point today on a World Cup match. Morocco secured a single point against Croatia, a match held at Alberti Stadium. Croatia dominated the match, but though was not able to win as this year's World Cup seemed to be unpredictable. Today, Risu Doan and Takuma Sano goals gave Japan a shocking lead against Germany. Gundogan scored a penalty for 33rd minute to give them an early win before Doan leaving a goal in the 75th minute and Asano doubling it 8 minutes later to give Japan a lead.
The statistics certainly back it up. That's a good touch. Asano still going. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. There's not going to be another upset, is there? possession and playing him onside, but it's brilliant. Absolutely sensational.
Other matches played included France, which came from 1 goal behind to get a victory of 4-1 against Australia.
A lovely reception of the ball there, and a great cross, and a goal! Craig, good! In by Hernandez! 1-1. Adrien Rabiot equalises for the world champions. And they've gifted possession here, it's Rabiot! Sets it up on a plate. And a milestone goal for Olivier Giroud. In towards Mbappe! Lovely header. And the man who electrified the 28 finals in Russia. There's that change of pace again. 4-1 France. And Olivier Giroud.
Mexico went on goalless draw against Poland.
That is it from the sports side, and of course, thank you very much for keeping it here with us. We are going to take a look at the newspaper reviews. We'll be looking at the Standard, Daily Nation, and of course, the Star. And of course, we have even a lot more newspapers, but first, let's take a quick break.
Hello everyone, 大家好. Welcome to IYF Chinese Academy.
IYF Chinese Academy, this is the only chance to learn Chinese language in a more precise and clear way.
Last time we talked about money, and this time I will show you about boutique, a shop to sell clothes. In Chinese, we call 服装店. Where do you want to go tomorrow? 明天你想去哪儿？明天 tomorrow。你 you 想 want 去 go 哪儿 where。
You can repeat after me. Naga, naga, niyao naga. Which one do you want? So when someone say niyao naga, he means which one do you want? But in that case, there is no pronoun. Niyao naga.
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders. 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances. Foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids' Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow!
Hello everyone, 大家好. Welcome to IYF Chinese Academy.
IYF Chinese Academy, this is the only chance to learn Chinese language in a more precise and clear way.
Last time we talked about money, and this time I will show you about boutique, a shop to sell clothes. In Chinese, we call 服装店. Where do you want to go tomorrow? 明天你想去哪儿？明天 tomorrow. 你 you 想 want 去 go 哪儿 where.
You can repeat after me. Naga, naga, ni yao naga. Which one do you want? So when someone say ni yao naga, he means which one do you want? But in that case, there is no pronoun. Ni yao naga.
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders, 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Hello everyone, 大家好. Welcome to IYF Chinese Academy.
IYF Chinese Academy, this is the only chance to learn Chinese language in a more precise and clear way.
Last time we talked about money, and this time I will show you about boutique, a shop to sell clothes. In Chinese, we call 服装店. Where do you want to go tomorrow? 明天你想去哪儿？明天 tomorrow. 你 you 想 want 去 go 哪儿 where.
You can repeat after me. Naga, naga, ni yao naga. Which one do you want? So when someone say ni yao naga, he means which one do you want? But in that case, there is no pronoun. Ni yao naga.
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders, 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Wait, stop right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances. Foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow!
Hello everyone, 大家好. Welcome to IYF Chinese Academy.
IYF Chinese Academy, this is the only chance to learn Chinese language in a more precise and clear way.
Last time we talked about money, and this time I will show you about boutique, a shop to sell clothes. In Chinese, we call 服装店. Where do you want to go tomorrow? 明天你想去哪儿？明天 tomorrow. 你 you 想 want 去 go 哪儿 where
You can repeat after me. Naga, naga, ni yao naga. Which one do you want? So when someone say ni yao naga, he means which one do you want? But in that case, there is no pronoun. Ni yao naga.
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders, 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances, foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids' Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow!
Hello everyone, 大家好. Welcome to IYF Chinese Academy.
IYF Chinese Academy, this is the only chance to learn Chinese language in a more precise and clear way.
Last time we talked about money, and this time I will show you about boutique, a shop to sell clothes. In Chinese, we call 服装店. Where do you want to go tomorrow? 明天你想去哪儿？明天 tomorrow。你 you 想 want 去 go 哪儿 where
You can repeat after me. Naga, naga, ni yao naga. Which one do you want? So when someone say ni yao naga, he means which one do you want? But in that case, there is no pronoun. Ni yao naga.
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders, 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances, foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids' Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow!
Experience the Gospel of John like never before with Pastor Oksu Park, founder of Christian Leaders Fellowship, a fast-growing global movement of over 300,000 church leaders, 60 years of ministry and missions with 1,200 life-changing sermons delivered each year. Pastor Park's broadcasts have reached 1 billion people across 94 countries worldwide. Join him for this deep dive into the Gospel of John and find your way to salvation and the heart of God.
Wait, stop right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances, foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow! Wait, stop right there. It's the kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Kids' mind. Enjoy this part into triangle shape. Songs, dances, foolish and so funky. Pow, pow, pow. Vitamins blasting off. Amazing tomato. And Bible stories. We at the Kids Mind, we desire to serve you with these exciting activities. Join us. Join us every Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Wow! Wow!
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, and of course we are moving directly to the newspaper review where we are going to be looking matters making headlines in the country as we speak. First, we're going to take a look at the Standard, where we can see inside Ruto's team radical CBC option. Of course, this is where they have a proposal. They are proposing, we can see several proposals there where they're proposing a movement from 2633 and to go to 6243. Of course, we can see that is happening. The president's working party for education reform is considering changes that could come for the curriculum. And then we can see Mudavadi, on other headlines, we can see Mudavadi stamps authority as senior most Western leader. Of course, we can take a look at what is happening in the education sector. The system is being requested to be changed as well, but we are yet to see what is happening at that as well. Moving forward, we are also taking a look at the Cherera 4 in fight for their lives. Of course, these are the 4 people who have a petition to be removed from IEBC. Of course, the petition is going on, and we are expecting to see their feedback. And then, of course, and we can see also what Mudavadi has said, and engaging each other from all fronts. I want you to know that I am free and available for you. As we saw during the campaigns, this is an open government. Of course, that is what he said. Of course, moving forward, we can take a look at the Daily Nation, where we can see a lot happening in the Daily Nation, where Kenya stares at athletes ban. Of course, as we look at that as well, we can see Raila, of course, we can see the government last night declared zero tolerance to doping, with top sports officials racing against time to wiggle the country out of a looming ban against its athletes in international competitions over the rising cases of doping. Of course, we can see that is as well. You can see it in page 2 and 3. And we'll see on other headlines is Ruto Raila showdown in battle for IBC's soul. Of course, that is the ongoing case as well about the Cherera 4. And of course, moving forward, we can see on other headlines that we can see on other headlines on health. You can see ministry receipts HIV drug from patients. Of course, this is after it was found to have some form of contamination. Of course, they are taking a look at that as well. On the economy, we can see broker treasury starts short-term debt swap. Of course, you can see that. Of course, and the drought, we can see children quit school due to severe drought. Of course, that is happening sadly in the country as we speak. And then, of course, we can see the Black November offer that is going to happen in. And then moving to the Star, where we get to see Musalia raids Raila Taff goes for MPs. That is and is making headline on the Stars, where we can see Mudavadi's move seen as part of consolidating the Western vote. You can see that, of course, on page 4 and page 5 of the Star, and you make sure to get on that as well. To continue, we can see Education CS Moshogu stops schools buying craze by head teachers. Of course, you can see that. And another Glant bites of the dust as Japan see off Germany at the World Cup. Of course, this is on the ongoing World Cup that is happening at Qatar. And of course, we can see for against GMO in Kenya context. Of course, we can see this genetically modified organism conversation going on around the country. Of course, it is alleged that we have received maize. Of course, we are yet to see. And moving to People's Daily, where we see what is making headlines on People's Daily, we can see Ruto faces revolt in his staff on maize. So, of course, this is also on the well on what is happening on the GMOs. And then parents' headache over long holidays. School release learners home for 2 months, unlike in the past, where have taken short breaks to cover time lost in COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, this is happening as the students and the pupils are going for a break. And then Ruto faces revolt in his staff on maize. Of course, this is on the ongoing GMO issue, where we can see leaders and farmers in the president's backyard gang up to oppose planned importation grains, arguing that the government should instead from local growers and rare rebellion for his, of course, political base. Of course, we can see this is also influencing a case of GMOs as well that is going on in the country. And we can see Kinoti's men shuffled in major purge. You can see perceived allies of former DCI chief moved to stations outside Nairobi in shake-up. Of course, we can see, of course, that is happening in the country as we speak. And then the government should be sensitive to flight of local farmers and suspend the planned importation. Of course, we can see a lot of leaders, especially from those regions in maize production where they're expecting harvest very soon. They are not, they are against these GMO importation of maize. And of course, moving forward to business, where we can see shipping farms and push KPA to hire more dogs. And then, of course, this is about shipping and logistics, where we can see where shipping is done to dog hands. And Italian cruise ship hires 80 Kenyan youths for sea jobs. That is, make sure to check on that and do get that and learn more on business. If you want to get enlightened, do make sure to go through the business part of it. And of course, we'll take a look at the tweets from Philippines. One is saying secures at President William Ruto, where we can see major wins in Korea, secures 120 billion to support local manufacturing in health, smart city. Of course, that is what is happening. And of course, moving forward, yes, to another tweet, you can see support for Sagan Industrial Park. Of course, this is expected to give jobs to around 10,000 youths. Now, moving forward to the second tweet, of course, where we can see that support for Dongo Kundu Special Economic Zone. Of course, this is by Kenyan in Korea, where we made sure to tweet on that as well. Moving forward to yet another tweet, we can see And of course, do make sure to keep the conversation going through our SMS line 21144. That is it for the views. I've just touched on the headlines. Do make sure to dig in the newspaper and get the full package and learn what is happening in making headlines in Kenya today as we speak. And thank you very much for keeping it here with us. Keep the conversation going through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. I have been with you, Beatrice Njeri. Do make sure to have a good day.